Hey everyone, you designers are here.
I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home. And we've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today. So let's get started.
Today is episode 225, How to Shop for Home Decor Without Being Overwhelmed.
Today's show notes can be found at decoratingtipsandtricks.com/225.
You know, I hear this from a lot of my readers. So many of my readers, I think they get stuck. I mean, I'm talking about my blog readers, get stuck designing and decorating because they just get so overwhelmed with either going out to different places and looking for things between, you know, if you do something custom fabrics, style, or they get so overwhelmed by that process that they just call it quits.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I hear this over and over and over again.
Well, and the interesting thing for me is I have to look at a 1,000 lamps to buy one.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I'm
I think you're the exception rather than the rule, though,
yeah, so
Anita.
it takes me so long to find just the right lamp. So I look at thousands of lamps, and most people don't like doing that. But once I find it, it's like, I know this is
you
it.
know that you know that you know, right?
Right. But if you're not, but that can be a lot for a lot of people if it's not their thing. I mean, it's my thing, so it doesn't bother me.
And it's what we do is we do this all day long.
That's right. But, if you're not, and so we know where the best deals are and where this is and where that is. But, if you're just coming at it, you've got a whole nother life and you're like, oh yeah, I want to decorate my room. I need a lamp. It can be overwhelming to go, well, where do I even start? And then if you go to one of these huge websites that have 1,000 lamps, I mean, I can, and they're all, but see, also, I know that when I go shopping for a lamp, there's a specific style I'm looking for. And I think that's also why it's not as overwhelming for me. But if you don't know which style you want, then I can see it driving you nuts because there's 1,000 different styles and they're in 15, 20 different colors, each one. And so where do you start? How do you begin? I mean, I can see it just being really a lot.
And here's the thing. I think there's a real secret to this. People, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. Well, why drink out of the fire hose when you can drink out of the water fountain? And why drink out of the water fountain when you can drink out of the custom-made tumbler with the straw in it that's just made for you? The same thing. You don't have to see everything. You don't have to have every option. Now, Anita, you're different and we're to some degree different because we do this for a living. But there's some really easy questions that you can dovetail things just for you so you don't have to do that whole fire hose. I'm just going to look at everything. It gets so overwhelmed. And you don't even have to drink from the communal water fountain either, because you can tailor make what you're looking for, and
you can shop at bespokedecor.store and have it all made just for you.
For you, that's exactly right. But there is a true secret to that, and we're going to be here and help you with that today.
Well, and the reason, so what I wanted to say about Bespoke Decor or some other small online stores is that it's so much easier if you find an online store that's smaller, that is your specific style, then guess what? You don't have to sort through. Some of these mega sites, they have 20 different styles. So you're looking at a bunch of stuff that no way are you going to like it or be interested in it. So why even look at it? It's just making you tired. I do recommend the first thing is that if you're looking online, find a store like ours, bespokedecor.store, or another one. If our style isn't yours, then find another one that is, but find one of these smaller stores that has fewer things and start there, because it's going to be a custom made, like she said, a custom made tumbler full of things just that will appeal to you, and you're going to have a much more pleasant shopping experience there. But some of these stores where everything's white boxed and it's just a pillow by itself, and if it's not your thing, you're kind of like, well, does that even go with my stuff? And oh my goodness, it's 20 colors. I can see that's just too much.
I think the smartest thing that you have to think about, let's say you do go to a bigger store, obviously Bespoke, Kelly and Anita have really been listening to your wants and needs. So it is very custom made towards a certain audience. But let's say you decide you're going to go to Wayfair. I'm just using that, or Joss and Main, or Pottery Barn, or Crate and Barrel, or something like that, or Anthropology. And they have these wonderful little mechanisms on their sites called filters. And you can filter things down. Let's say you're looking for a coffee table. Do you want a wood coffee table, a metal coffee table, a glass coffee table, a rectangle, an oval, a square? Do you want all solid? Do you want metal on it? And you can and what color do you want? And you can actually, through a filter a lot of the 5,242 coffee tables down to maybe 100 and some. And I mean, I think that's a lot, but I think this is the mentality that you have to have a filter. And when you shop for something, you have to know, okay, what are the measurements? Will this fit? Will this not fit? Do I prefer a square, or do I prefer an oval? Do I want a high chair back, a low chair back? So that when you go shopping, you can filter out so easily things that you don't want. Okay, that's a no. Excuse me. I love the pattern. I may love the pattern on something, but hey, that's just not my style. So that one's a no. Pardon me. And I think that you have to understand that you need to filter out, have your own internal filter in what you're looking for. And a good example of this is, for years, I collected something called Peach Luster. They're dishes by Fire King, and my grandmother had a bunch of them, and she passed them down to me. And so I became sort of obsessed with them. And so I would go to like an antique shop or vintage place, and we have tons of them in this area. And people would be like, how do you do that? It's so overwhelming. How do you see everything? That's just it. I don't see everything. My eyes were looking for that color. I was looking for, it's a very distinct color, peach. And it's sort of an opalescent color. And also I didn't look like with all the wooden rolling pins and things like that. I went to where the dishes were. So I learned how to filter my shopping experience to suit. So I'm not there 2 hours so frustrated that I just throw up my hands and go, I've got to go home. And where's the Advil in my purse? You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, let's face it, there's a lot out there, right? And
tons.
If we've talked about it, we talk about it a lot. It's something that needs to be said each time. You need to work on your style and think about it and curate your own style so you know what you are looking for, because every shiny thing and every pretty thing can turn your eye when you don't know really what you want, right? And then you end up coming home with maybe a trunk full of hodgepodge things that don't go, in a vacuum. They're all pretty, but they don't work together, all of that. But there's something else I want everyone to keep in mind. Stop doubting yourself as a designer. If you're listening to us, you are a designer. Even if you don't feel like you have shown that to the world yet, or you haven't convinced yourself of that yet, but don't doubt yourself. You can do this. And, don't sit in your room looking around going, how am I ever going to decorate this? Or, I think I like this, but I don't know. Is this the right thing to like? Am I going to, is it too much money? All of these things. Definitely cost is a concern, but at the heart of it, don't doubt yourself as a designer, because doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will, right?
I love that.
You are so on it, girlfriend.
Right. And that is, so go with it. And if you really love it, and when you come home, your eyes sparkle, or you get a smile on your face, or you just have that, I'm home feeling, because it's what you love, then you have done it right. And it doesn't have to be right for Elle Decor. It doesn't have to be right for your mother. It doesn't have to be right for your best friend. It doesn't have to be right for Yvonne, Anita, and Kelly, right? We all have our individual styles. And our styles, we have a collective sort of a look, but individually we have all different styles. So I want you guys to all know that you can do this, and don't doubt yourselves, and then get out there and get online and find the things that you love, or maybe just move around the things that you do have and do all the things we talk about, spray paint them, move them, try them in different rooms, try different things too. That's my second thing that I want to mention is don't be afraid to try new things. So don't doubt yourself and don't be afraid to try new things. Those two tips, which I know come from all of our hearts, not just, I just happen to be saying them out loud right now. I think that will take you really far along the road to having the home of your dreams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's so much to be said for that. So if you see something and it speaks to you, to me, that's the first thing that makes me decide whether I'm going to buy it. I think some people look at the price first. And if you're buying based solely on price, I shouldn't say solely, but mostly on price, I think you're going to end up being disappointed. I mean, I really look at the item speaks to me first. Now, that doesn't mean I buy it no matter what the price is, but I look at that first. If it really speaks to me, then I look to see, does this fit in my budget? But I don't go to the bargain aisle and go, oh, this is on sale. How can I make this work? Because I'm telling you, every time I've done that, a year down the road, that's what I'm giving away because I never really liked it. I bought it because it was on sale. In the end, it cost me money. If I had just saved my money and bought the thing I loved, I would have been much happier. And I'm going to give my example of this lavender spode antique soup tureen I bought. It wasn't cheap, but let me tell you something. It's something I will have forever. It is beautiful. I adored it. It speaks to me. It's spode, it's dishes, it's purple. And so I'm not sorry. And I can use that so many different places in my house. And, it's an investment. Not everything I buy will be, but that was worth the money.
And Anita, that's such a good, very, very good point. And it comes down to if you are budgeting, then maybe less is more in your home. Mm-hmm. I think another thing that you have to do so that you do not get so overwhelmed when you're going out shopping and even looking online is do your homework beforehand. Know what you like for that area, and then just key in on those things visually, like be blind to other things, visually key into the shape or the color or something you're looking for, but don't go in like that you're so totally open for everything that you get into that, that love too much. I love it. I love everything too much syndrome, because that can be very frustrating.
Yeah. And I think taking it one room at a time also sort of breaks it up in little chapters or little parts. And that seems a lot more manageable to say, okay, I'm going to focus on the living room and get that all done. I mean, sure, wonderful things may come across your path for the bedroom when you're supposed to be focusing on the living room. And, that just sometimes happens in life, and you can make a decision at that point, whether or not, that really is the thing that you're going to be looking for when you get to the bedroom chapter, and maybe you purchase it at that point. But if you can focus on one room at a time, and then that's really has a nice sense of satisfaction when you've, we say never done, but when you've completed that room, you may not be done, but you've completed it.
So to speak in air quotes.
Exactly. So it has everything
where you're happy with it.
Right. Where you're happy with it. Where you say, okay, I can now, there's not a missing spot. I don't feel like I need to have something over there. I've filled in everything and it feels complete, and I'm going to move on to the next room. That helps me. And that definitely helped me a lot when we were working on this house. I did have some things that I found along the way, and I just tucked them away and hoped that I was right, that they would work. And you know what? Most of the times they did, because I also knew my measurements and this and that. But, like Anita says so often, if it doesn't work in one room, if you love it, you'll move it to another room and it'll work.
And we've said this earlier, and we've sort of glazed over this, but this can't be stressed enough. Know your style, know your style, know your style, know your style. The more you can hone in on your style, the more confident you'll be. All the static and noise of everything else will fade away, because the more you know your style, the more confident of a shopper you will become, and you'll be better at it too. And my style sort of has changed and evolved, but I keep that classical undertone. So I just know, for me in my house, you're not going to buy your bigger ticket items. They're always going to be classic. They're always going to be classic. They're always going to be classic. They're going to be light colored. They're going to be monochromatic, in that I'm not so much of a gray person, but I'm like creams and oatmeals and ivories and colors like that. I just know that when I'm looking for something, it'll be classic and it'll be in that color. And
And
Boy,
if
does
I
that
wanted
make my life easier.
I wanted to jump in here. So if you don't know your decorating style, I think Yvonne is really onto something. That is really where you start, is know your decorating style. Once you know that, the shopping becomes so much easier, because then you're going to always say, does this go with my style or not? So I want to just go ahead and give you the link to our episode on how to determine your style. And it's decoratingtipsandtricks.com/2. It was so important. It was our second episode. So I think that's,
and it is that important, Anita. You're right.
It really is. I mean, it's really it's so foundational. That's why we wanted to talk about that first, because it's once you have that, then everything else is so much easier and makes so much more sense. Because if you don't know what your style is, then you're running around and you're going this way and that way and another direction. And then you bring these things together and they don't work, like Kelly was saying. But if you know your style and you're bringing things together and they all go with that style, they're going to work somewhere in your house.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health: potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants.
This is just a little caveat to what everybody is saying. It's not, you're not going to go shop. Let's say there's those times that you're not going to shop for like a sofa or a coffee table or a great lamp, something that's, well, for me, lamps aren't usually a big investment, but something that's more of an investment. You just need to go out and buy something at Home Goods because you just need something little and new for your house. Like, that you get tired of it. That's where you do not purchase a big ticket item when you have that state of mind. No, I'm serious.
Is that like don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry?
When you're hungry,
kind of feeling?
Because first of all, you'll spend a lot of money and you won't make the right choice. But that's the time that you can shop for some fun, really, really fun, inexpensive accent pieces, and just know the difference between the two. Because that is really important. Because you'll end up doing what Anita said, buying something that totally doesn't go, but just, you just had to have something new. Everything looks stale to you and you're going to go out and do this. Ooh, start with a few fun accessories. Don't go to the big ticket items. That you have to put more thought into it than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Yes, definitely. You don't want to amass a whole lot of things. And then on one day you're dragging home a sofa and you're like, it's magenta. I was just feeling down. Like, oh.
Well, there is a time that Pottery Barn is 4.8 miles from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Pottery Barn outlet. And it's the outlet, no less. And there are just days that I just look at the house and go, I just need something for this. And I mean, if I were like you or Anita, you'd probably go to a vintage shop and find like the greatest Bergère chair or something. But I go to the Pottery Barn outlet instead. But I won't buy a new kitchen table that is on a fabulous sale or another great sofa, because I know that if I'm going just on those whims of a time, even if it's like the best buy on earth, I don't do it. And some things can be really marked down. And it's like, that's just such a great buy. But that's my state of mind is not for buying a big piece of furniture. So, I just need something little. So maybe I'll buy a mercury glass candle holder or something like that instead.
Yeah. It's funny how you get that itch. I get that every once in a while. Like, all of a sudden I feel my car like, it's going over to the side and I'm pulling into my favorite thrift store or, on occasion it's even like a Home Goods or something like that. And you just feel like looking around and maybe I'll come home with a little white pitcher or something like that. But I agree with you. That's I sort of, I scratch that itch with something small.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I do. And when I go into a store and I've actually it seems like I may have accidentally or inadvertently trained my girls this way when they go, but they're clothes shoppers, at this point in their lives.
That age. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But they go right to the back of the store because that's where the sale is. I say you start in the back and then you work forward. And if you might find something you're really, really happy with in the back.
But if you're looking for the prom gown,
right.
You don't start in the back.
Oh, we always start in the back.
Unless you're going to Filene Bargain Basement or something.
They're diamonds.
So you go the opposite of my approach.
No, I don't necessarily. I mean, price is obviously always a concern. Mm-hmm. I mean, it should be for everyone. You don't want to overpay for something. No, but it's always. I've always had such good luck.
Really?
The fact that it's inexpensive is a bonus. I wouldn't buy. I have, of course, everybody has bought something just because it's. So I understand what you're saying. I'm not at this point in my life buying something inexpensive just based on the fact that it's inexpensive and it's a thing. Good. Right. Mm-hmm. It's that if you go into the back and you scan, right, and you see like what's a good fabric, sometimes they just want to get rid of something that's fabulous. Or, I
don't turn down a great price.
Oh, I know you don't. I know you don't. But I'm saying, sometimes, especially if you have, how many 5.5 shoes, size 5.5 shoes have you seen in your life that are like amazing, but they're marked down because who's a 5.5?
Tell me about it.
I just went shopping. All the extra smalls marked way down. And I'm thinking, man, I wish I was still an extra small.
Yeah. So my crew, we're on the smaller side of the, the human spectrum. So we do pretty well in the extra small department, the three of us. But as far as home furnishings and decor, I do. I definitely am a clearance aisle girl. And, it's probably part of the thrifting and the vintaging and all of that. Like, I am not afraid of a dusty box, whereas somebody might go right to the table that's all decorated at the estate sale. I'm like all over in the corner where I'm like, you didn't put these out yet? Let me see. They're not priced. What's in that dusty box? How much is this? So I kind of like to shop that way because it's sort of
you love the hunt.
I love the hunt. It makes me tingly.
See, some people, the hunt makes them tired. But let's pretend you started and you're in the thick of things. You're in the thick of the woods in the hunt and you are so overwhelmed. You're lost in the woods. You know what? Stop.
Call me.
Your card away. Put your card away. Go to the nearest coffee shop. Go sit down and get something to get a little nosh. Sit and just do a little Pinterest on your phone while you're sitting. Give yourself a little break to clear. It's almost like you've got to break the cycle of being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so totally do something else. That doesn't mean you have to leave the shopping opportunity area.
Mm-hmm.
You just,
so don't go home.
No,
don't go home. But
break
just go to the
I mean, if you
shop.
have the time, stop. Leave, break the habit, calm yourself down, say, listen to DTT episode 225 again. And
here's another thing. Let people do your shopping for you. And I think we all have readers. No, wait a minute. I'm saying our readers use us for that a lot because what's the most asked question we all three get?
Where did you get that?
Where did you get that? So if you see something online that we have or that some other blogger has, you ask, where did you get that?
Well,
they'll probably tell you.
And this is, Anita, I've been working on this for like a month now, and I'm almost done. I have a whole page that will be coming on Stone
Where
Gable.
did you get that?
It's called Shop My House. And it
nice.
And it does change because some of the things I get, like, I was so thrilled. I have a set of Pottery Barn, these big ceramic white lanterns. They're gorgeous. I could have sold 200 of them in the last 3 years. If I have that up on a post, somebody asked me about it. So I've stopped actually using them. They're beautiful, but I feel so bad saying, I got them like 4 years ago and I haven't seen them. They finally came back on their site.
Well,
so if you've been looking for those white ceramic Pottery Barn lanterns, they're back.
Well, it's interesting you say that.
Let me just finish my thought, Anita. Okay. So I'm this Shop My House, but it's not going to stay static because my stuff changes. So I'm just going to really be aware of, what I have going on, what's in, what the companies have and what they don't have, because 3 of my favorite things in my home, they don't have anymore. So, what are you going to do? But my big curlicue chest, everybody asks about that. That's back in. And I haven't seen that for about 3 years. So you're right. Come and look at us. And if you like our style, we're so happy to share where we got things.
Yeah. A lot of times people ask me where I get something and I feel bad telling them because usually if it's furniture, it's a vintage piece that I have had reupholstered because, people are smart when they see things on my site. The things that look like stuff they bought everywhere, they kind of pass over that and their eye goes to the thing that looks unique and unusual. Well, the reason it's unique and unusual is because it's an antique that I've redone in a new way and so there's just one of them that exists. And so that's what they usually want. So, if you want something, one of the things you can do, but this is much more work, is to go find an antique chair at a consignment store or usually not found at I find a ton of things at thrift stores, but that's because I go to thrift stores that handle consignment. If your thrift store doesn't handle consignment, you won't find the really good things there. But
the quality.
Right. But if you go to a consignment store, that's where there's a lot of great chairs hanging out or even at Craigslist. And then I take it to an upholstery place and, and again, people ask, well, where do you go for upholstery? And the secret is go on Nextdoor or go to your friends and say, hey, does anyone have a guy? Remember,
find the guy.
You gotta have a guy. I've got a guy.
Isn't it weird?
I've got a gal.
Yeah.
I've got a gal and a guy, actually.
Okay, good. I was just going to say that. Isn't it strange that upholsterers all seem to be men, but seamstresses are women? Is that like
exactly
nurses and doctors used to be, or, pilots and airline hostesses? I mean, what is with that? Why weren't women trained to be upholsterers in the way back? Because upholstery is kind of becoming a lost art, I think. Except for Anita can do it.
No, I can't do upholstery.
You slip cover like nobody's
slip cover.
beeswax.
Yeah, that's with a sewing machine. But I'm not manhandling furniture and ripping things off.
When I'm like 85 and I'm not doing any of this any longer. I think I'd love to take up upholstering.
There you go. Well, then you'll be the gal.
It certainly would be just for me. Oh. It would certainly be an aerobic activity, I have a feeling, at 85.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to get back to the hunt because you mentioned that and you talked about me being, BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off. Yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Here's the thing. We're talking about overwhelm. Well, think about if you choose to become a decor hunter, a treasure hunter, I like to call it, then hunters are not water bugs, right? They are focused, right? They are focused on their prey. And I'm not talking about, Bambi or anything like that. I'm talking about the perfect pillow, the perfect accent chair. That's what you're focused on. So you're imagine yourself so you're akin, like you're in Home Goods. It's like the woods. It's like the forest. Like you're going through and you're looking. You're not like looking all over the place. You are focused. You're sort of in your, not your hashtag, in your crosshairs, right? When as hunters are looking, or when you're pulling back your bow to nail that pillow and make it your own. You are not looking all over the forest.
That's right.
That sounds
if you're looking for that
bow and arrow with my pillow, stop that.
If you're looking for that 3-tiered tray, what are you doing in the gourmet food aisle?
Exactly.
It's fun.
You might bump into my mother-in-law there. She loves to buy us. I'm like, what is this? Is this like syrup from Marshall's? This is so weird.
Oh, yeah.
But
why do they have that aisle?
What we're saying is hone in on what you're looking for before you go and love too much and look at the aisles that you don't even belong in.
Right.
After you've been to a store and you've exhausted that they either have it or don't, then, you can do a little meandering around.
Right.
But see, that is so not me. I just did a post about this. Like, I'm the lone wolf shopper. Like, I have in mind, okay, we're going to Home Goods today because I have one about 8 miles from my house. We're going to Home Goods today and we're going to look for a glass footed, big tall jar with the lid. So I know exactly where that is. My mother, no, mother, you cannot come with me. No, friends, I can meet you after for lunch, but not during the shopping trip because it's too distracting and I get too overwhelmed. And there's another tip for you. Don't go with people if you get overwhelmed. I think they hurt rather than help. And so I go right for where all the glass homeware is. That's where I go first. That's where I stay and I'm in and I'm out. Strike, score, go.
All right. So yeah, just to wrap it all up, I think, and certainly you guys add in anything I missed, but know your style. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really important. Anita gave you some homework there to listen to our second episode, which is really good on knowing your style. And I added in, don't doubt yourself. Believe it. You're a designer. And there's no doubt in my mind you can do it. So there should be no doubt in your mind that you can do it.
Right.
And don't be afraid of the unexpected. Especially if you love something that seems to be unexpected to others, go for it. Make it work for you. Make it your own. Do your homework.
Use a filter.
Yeah. And put your filters on, put your blinders on, focus on what you need. Take your measurements with you. I'm not sure we mentioned that, but that's a good practical tip.
Yes, it is good.
And be a hunter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Be a hunter than a meanderer.
Yes. Yeah. Than a gatherer.
Mm-hmm. Hunter gatherer. Just be the hunter, not the gatherer part.
Exactly.
Don't be a forager. Let's put it that way. Don't like forage. Well, I'm going to go down to the soil and forage for what I want.
Right.
Just go get it. Be very focused. That way will help you not to be overwhelmed.
Okay. We're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time. Hey, everybody. We want to thank you so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. And we want to make it even easier for you to listen. And it's easier if you subscribe. You just click the subscribe button on our website, www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com, or you can subscribe through Apple Podcast or any of your favorite podcast listeners. When you subscribe, DTT comes free right to you 3 days a week. So until next time.